G'day guys, Tiny here from Offtap Brewing. Yeah, just wiping the sleep from my eye. It's just checking where the sun is in the sky. Yep, it's sparrow fart. That's an increment of time that we lovingly refer to in Australia here, which means very freaking early. Okay, I meant to brew some beer over the holidays. I meant to brew a lot of beer over the holidays. I'm back at work now, which is a bit of a bummer. I've got a broken thumb. I'm like this for at least 4 weeks. Very painful, in fact. But that wasn't the reason why I couldn't brew. I did my stock check. I had grain. I made sure I bought enough grain. I had hops, I made sure I bought enough hops. I had cubes, I made sure I bought enough cubes. Well, water just comes out of our tap. Lucky us in Australia here, we don't have to go dig for it. You know, I had everything that I needed, except my Irish moss. And I'm not going to do brews for sale without the Whirlpool tablets or Irish moss or copper flock or something like that. And yeah, when I realised I didn't have it, I realised that my local brew store was closed. Was closed for like, I don't know, a day before or 2 days before I went back to work, and that's when I broke my thumb. So I went and I picked up some. All he had was the Irish moss, not the copper, not the Whirlpool. And yeah, broken thumb, couldn't brew, so now I'm brewing with a broken thumb to fill the orders for him. He's placed an order for all of my recipes, so a couple of each. So I better start brewing some stuff for him. Alright guys, I'm going to film some of my brew day. Hope you stick along for the journey. Hope I can keep you entertained. Hope I can show you some tips and tricks along the way, help you brewing, or yeah, basically just do a video and suck some of your life away on YouTube. And as always guys, before I get too excited and go and crush grain and everything, I always run a test on my Brewmeister. I always hit the manual button and I bring my actual temperature up to my 45 mash in, right, and then I hit the heat button, the heater comes on, and then I just watch the actual temperature. See, it's 29 degrees. That water at 5:30 in the morning came out of my tap at 29 degrees. That is unreal. And I turn the pump on. I check out my pumps. Ooh, I have a bit of grain floated up. Better not leave that in there, it'll cause tannins. Oh no, not tannins. Okay, the pumps work. And I wait about 2 minutes and I should see that click up a little. I won't go anywhere and crush grain or weigh hops or do anything until I see that moving. If it's taking too long, then I've got dramas. Alright, that took less than a minute and a half, and we're 1.5 degrees up. It keeps changing between 30 and 31, so we're 1.5 degrees up, so I'm happy that is working. My Brewmeister, after 2 or 3 years, I think it's 3 years old, is still working. I've heard word tell of a new Brewmeister box coming out. I might look at getting myself a new Brewmeister this year. Maybe. See what happens. But yeah, I'm confident that everything's going to work, so I'm going to go ahead and get some grain and shit and program the Brewmeister. This mash is going to be mashed in at 45 degrees because the 45 degrees because it's not too hot. If anything goes wrong while I'm putting my grain in, it's not too hot to get my hand in there and stuff about with it. And then I'll do a protein rest at 52 degrees for 15 minutes, something I always do. I found I get good results with that. And then today is a 80-minute mash at 64 degrees. We're doing an ale at 64 degrees. I just like the little bit of dryness to it. And we're going to recirc through the 100 litre mash tun. I'm going to get a bag, so it's brew in a bag, brew in a Brewmeister, 3-vessel boil day. I've got my sparge water filling up in my 80 litre pot. Today I'll just be using the 80 litre pot, it's just a triple batch. And the grain is will be pale ale, crystal 60, hops will be Amarillo, Topaz and Citra. Too easy. Alright guys. Mashing in. We haven't even hit any temperatures yet, it's only been a couple of minutes, but I do have my strike water. Just going to start heating it up a little. I've actually put on my burner, I've actually put a stainless steel pot that I cut down, a little recess in it, you can see it there, and that's just sucking air up to the bottom and putting the heat to the top. We're really just warming her up, taking it from the 28 degrees that come out of the tap. I'll just start the heating up process, do it slowly. I've got a couple of hours yet. Isn't it always the same? You go to do a video and we're on pump break, so I've got no information, but you can see the colour is changing. There we go, the pump's come back on. You can see it all rising up. The colour's changing. We're ramping up for mash, so a lot of the colour's steeped out of the crystal, but we've still got the cloudy. That cloudy will definitely clear up as those starches are converted to sugar. That will definitely happen. But what are we at now? It says there we're 57 degrees, aiming for 64, and 90 minutes. I had it set up for 90 minutes on the last lager that I did, and I thought, oh well bugger, I'll just leave it at the 90 minutes. I know that conversion's going to be done way before that, but you know, I'm not actually doing anything, so why not? Why not just let it filter itself through itself? It's a double grain bed, it's double filtered. Hey, there's a selling tip, there's a selling an ad, what do you call it, point or something. It's double filtered through a double grain bed. Offtap Brewing. Slowly guys, the colour is starting to come through and the cloudiness is starting to dissipate. So those starches are being converted into sugars. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we've 74 minutes left of my 64 degree mash. Yep. Lots of spinning and bad light in this video. Yeah, that'll clear right up. That'll go nice crystal clear. The colour's starting to shine through. It's not going to get much darker, but it definitely will clear out. Confident in that. Trust me, he says. Would you buy a used car off me? Of course you would. Here, we've got a lovely model right at the back here. Second-hand taxi. One owner, 650 drivers. It's yours for a steal. There's my brew buddy over there, checking out the guinea oinks. He's fascinated by them. All he does is hit him when he gets close to him. Hits him with his paw. Interesting. But anyhow, we're back. We're still brewing. You know, you guys. I don't know how much of that you can actually see. Whether you can see it's clearer from last time or not. I can. I don't know what the camera picks up, but this is where we're at. 45 minutes left in the mash. It's a nice colour. That colour will be diluted with my sparge water. Now my sparge water comes from this pot here. Basically I'm just going to pour my sparge water. I'm going to empty or pump the water out of this to fill this up. Then I'm going to hand move the water from here into there, and then just run it through a bit with my malt pipe out up here. Then I'm going to fill that and then just dump the rest of that water in there, and then use what I need to get my gravity and my volume. Basically, when it's sitting at the top of this pot, this is an 82 litre pot, I want an 80 litre batch. When it's sitting at the top of this pot, I want about 1,037. That'll get me, when it boils down to my 3 cube sizes, that'll get me 1,045 every single time. So if I need to add more water to the mash tun to thin that out, if my gravity is too high, that's exactly what I do. And if I need to boil some off to put more in there to get more sugar, if I need to go for even if it has to spin out to a 2-hour boil just to bring my gravities into check, then that's what I do. I make sure I get what I want. I don't play around with the Offtap brewing beers. They're 1,045, that's what they are. And I find that you can have different setups in your brew software, which is all well and good, but at the end of the day, if you're getting far too much efficiency and not enough volume, so too much sugar and not enough liquid, man, you've got to thin that out. You've got to get it to where you had it, what you said you were having for your bitterness, and what you said you were having for your original gravity, and what you said you were going to have for your volume. Those things are important. It's the triangle of balance, guys. It really is. You got to balance the bitterness with the alcohol with the sweetness, and if you don't do that on this brew, or you're just not in the practice of doing that, when you put your information into your brew software and you say, oh shit, that was 27 IBUs and I really didn't like it. Well, was it 27 IBUs? Man, your brew was 5 litres short, your sugar or your volume, your original gravity was 10 points over, you're 5 litres short, your 27 IBUs, nothing was in balance. So if you put your software, if you put your brew into your software, make sure you get those out. I'm not going to add any hop additions until I know I've got 1,037 at a full pot. Obviously, if it's down lower, it's going to be higher. So I'm not going to let it boil over. So I'm going to go lower. So, it's just about working it out, understanding your system, and hitting your targets. I mean, shit, guys, really, if you've got to add dextrose to bring you, if you've undercut your grain and you've done a lot of mistakes in your process of mashing, and you don't have your volume of sugar there in your wort, and you've programmed that, seriously, guys, I would use dextrose, not in an Offtap brewing beer because they're all grain for a reason. But if I needed to have a starting gravity of 1,045 and I'm only at 1,035, man, I'd definitely chuck a kilo of dextrose in there and I'd bring that up. Because then when I taste that and I add my beer tasting notes to my software, I know exactly what to change next time. I know, okay, that wasn't hoppy enough, that wasn't bitter enough, it was too bitter, it was too hoppy. The things, it was too sweet, it was this, it was that, it was everything else. I know what to change. Don't fly blind with your software. Always hit your targets, and your targets are very achievable. Well, this is going to be interesting, the old one-handed iodine test. Alright guys, now the iodine test is designed so we can see if we've converted all the starch to sugar. The starch reacts with the iodine and turns black. Now, you don't have a big, you don't add this to your wort, you don't have a big container of, you know, wort, you just need a little bit like this. Because what you're looking for is the iodine that forms around the edges. You don't want it to be so diluted in there that it just goes to the same colour, then that just does not work. Like, I don't know what the point is. I recently saw that on Facebook. Couldn't believe it. So we put our drop in there. Okay, and we can see that. We can see it changing. We can see the iodine moving out to the edges and thinning out. Now, that is staying the same colour. Even right out to the edges. That iodine is staying the same colour. You guys really can't see that. I'm doing that on an orange iodine test on an orange container. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, guys. Full starch conversion. Now I know I can put my Brewmeister on automatic and start ramping the temperatures up. But if we dilute that too much, it's not going to show us anything. It's just going to go into the, you know, into the mix. But yeah, so what we need to do is have that, you know, half a teaspoon and 1 drop, not 3 litres of wort and 1 drop. I mean, that's just crazy. You're not going to see anything. But I'm absolutely 100% confident that my starch has been converted to sugar. So I think there's like 34 minutes or something left on the Brewmeister. I'm going to now switch the Brewmeister over into manual and just ramp my temperature up, and off I go from manual from now on. I didn't need the 90. I knew that starting off, but yeah, we're all good. Alrighty, this is what it looks like at 80 degrees. You can see the clarity of that. That is awesome stuff. Obviously that's not the final colour, it will be watered down a little, quite a lot actually. But I just wanted to show you that. I've now got to pull the malt pipe out, mess around with that, and start sparging. Sparging straight into there, as I said before. We're going to use a double grain bed filtration system, which is, you know, I think I'm the only one that I've ever seen do this. I've never heard of anyone doing it like this. No one brews like I do. I bruise differently. But anyhow, it's time to kick this puppy back in the guts and get that up to about 82 degrees. Now, I don't hear many people sparging at the temperatures I sparge at. I like to really rip the sugars out of this stuff. Tannins, yeah, tannins can kiss my ass. I've never tasted bitterness from tannins, and I've done it all different ways, and I've never noticed the difference. Guys, so if you believe the myth about, you know, too hot, too many tannins, yeah, if I was to boil the husks, I dare say that I would rip the tannins out, but 82 degrees for me works fine, and I find that that extracts a lot more sugar than you would at 76 degrees. So, alright guys, I need 2 thumbs, which I don't have, and 2 hands. So, let's get this thing cracking. Got my bucket set up to run my sparge water off into, so I can create an empty vessel to pump my wort back into and start the sparging process straight out of these 3 buckets. 20 litre buckets, that'll be enough. Got about 65 litres in there now. Just topped it up a little. This thing works extremely fast with the modifications I've done on it. Cheers again, Tezza, for that, heads up. And I'm going to heat that up to about 85 degrees to allow a little bit of cool off for that. And as you can see, everything's running really smooth. I haven't had one drama today at all. So let's hope that you know, that's the continuation of the day. Let's go. Let's get this puppy out of here. My custom built extraction hoist. Makes brewing on this system a lot easier. Okay, now I try not to pull this out far enough because there is a big hole straight through it. There is a big spike in this pump, so I try just to bring it up to where I think the top of the spike is, and then I like to leave it. Otherwise I end up with grain going into my wort. But at this stage, that's where I'm going to leave it. Now this is the secondary filtration of the grain bed. In the 100 litre mash tun is my primary filtration. So my sparge water, which is in these 3 pots down here, will be tipped into there, filtered through the grain bag, then filtered through the malt pipe, and then into the 80 litre pot. We'll ramp that shit up for a boil. Okay, that's sparge. I mix that grain bed up. That's leaching out all the sugars in there. That get pumped up into there. When I have the pump on, that water circulates around, comes out the bottom, and it's currently being pumped into this pot here. I've got one more bucket of water. Thinking about electrifying one of these pots, or buying another plastic drum and sticking an element in it, hooked up to an STC, just to you know, keep it at my sparge temperature if I need it. We'll see how we go with that. Might incorporate that into the when I build my brew control box. But yes, everything's going fantastic. It's almost time to start checking that wort, kicking that burner back up, and let's get some temperature going. Alright guys, just rinsing the grain bag out, just cooling it down so we can use that for dog food and stuff. I'm going to have another beer in there. I've got my volume over here. We just started a boil, and I'm not far off my target at my volume. I'm about 4 points off, and I'm going to write that off to chill shrinkage. And yeah, we've still got some filtration to go through there, slowing down, and we'll cool that down, and running the excess off into the garden. Alright guys, we've got the boil going. We're 16 minutes into the boil. Bittering hops are in. I've ended up with that much liquid, which is about 30 litres or about 25 litres. I think I'm going to get a whole batch out of that at about 1,025. So there's a lightweight beer for the diabetic and some Offtap brewing beers. That grain bag there is all nice and cool, ready for the missus to get ready for these little nigglets. Brew cats and the brew dogs have moved out. Okay, we're bang on. Missus has got some grain there. I've got bang on the liquid there. I used my hop sock in there, which guys, seriously, is just an industrial sewing machine filter bag. Don't pay more than, you know, a couple of bucks for them. Just goes in an industrial washing machine, and you know, you can get them all different microns, all that sort of shit. You just want something to take the big hop debris out. So I'm just whirlpooling down to 98, 97, 95. I'm down to 98 degrees. I'll let that go a little bit more. I've actually ended up with another beer here, which I'm just going to dry hop. I'm just going to cube hop, sorry, into my cube there. It's just going to be beer for me. It's going to be about 1,025, which is perfect for me. So it's just going to be a cube hopped. But I've got my cubes here, as you can see, the fantastic stripy ones. One of the last of my purple ones, and a pretty clear one with a few stripes in it. I do like the colours on these. I get them a lot cheaper because they are, you know, factory seconds. They do have the integrity and they are guaranteed, but they just dye run from the other ones. They normally just chop them up and throw them back through the process to continue the cleaning the dye out and that sort of stuff. But I buy them by the pallet load like that, and I saved myself a bit of money. I hit my targets, guys. Targets are done. That's yeah, I got the volume there that I need, and it's about 1,040 with chill shrinkage. I'll get my 1,045, no problem at all. So yeah, there's just fill the pots, fill the cubes, let them cool. Fill my cube there, it's an old recycled cube, guys, you know how I clean those. And then the missus is going to retake the grain, chill the grain, retake the grain for the Offtap brewing sort of dog jerky, and we feed our dogs with it. So one thing I must say, that the having the grain bag in there without the manifold, I did not have to lift this thing out of here. I did not have to lift the mash tun out and go and wash it out in the garden and tip shit out. I'm going to be going and buying a shitload more of those $10 grain bags from Mike's Homebrew, and yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do 5 kilos at a time in each grain bag and just dump grain bags in there and just do away with manifolds altogether. So follow me on that little journey, the no manifold journey. I used the Irish moss this time, as you can see over there, and I'm sort of thinking, I've got a bit of a theory on the Irish moss, and I might let you know in another video, it's a necessity or not. But anyhow, guys, I've got to fill these cubes up and steal some more of your time. Alright guys, we'll get back when these cubes are full, and yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes out of 14 and a half, 15.4 kilos of grain. I've got 3 at 1045 and 1 at about 1025. So, you know what, guys? Beer makes you smarter. But this isn't the end of the video. Stick around, there'll be more. Here we go, guys. This is what you can see. This is the benefit of the Whirlpool. With a little protein. With a little protein. You get a protein cone happening there. I'm drawing the liquid from down there. You can see my little elbow joint there, and you can see the protein cone. Woo! Protein cone! Hop matter, protein cone, all that sort of stuff. There is a lot of merit in doing a Whirlpool, but you've got to do the Whirlpool properly, guys. And I'm going to save probably the next Whirlpool for a tip in 5 minutes under, because there is a proper way of doing this shit to get this sort of result. Fantastic result. Here we go, guys. We've got nearly a full cube there. I better hurry this up. We've got 2 full cubes there. I've got a beer happening over here for me. A low gravity beer. So out of that, I'm absolutely ecstatic out of the amount of word I've gotten. So you know what, guys? One thing I got to say, and I probably always say it. Remember, beer makes you smarter. Alright guys, I'm going to do a little bit of bonus footage for you now. Here we go. There's a cube for me. That's a Citra Pale Ale. Here's the Offtap brewing beers. They're a lot more higher gravity than the beer I'm going to drink, but they're all sold. And they're all sold. So, and the cleanup is pretty fantastic. That's already clean. That's just going to be cleaned. The missus is going to grab some grain out of there, put it in there, put it in the fridge for our other little business, and that's all clean, bar a little bit of drying up and dusting it out. But I tell you what, guys, I'm doing away with all fucking manifolds. I tell you what, the manifolds that we used for our mash tuns and that, as Offtap Brewing, I'm rendering them obsolete. I'm going to a new system. I didn't even have to move my mash tun to clean it out, and that was fantastic. That's a big heavy mash tun to be moving around and hosing out on the grass. So there's a tip in 5 minutes, guys. Look out for that one. I'm going to run through that in depth. My experiences with it. I've done it 3 times now on full brew days. Full brew days meaning over one batch. Like I'm talking between 80 to 150 litres. So I've been utilising the system, and you know what? Let's combine a few Australian sort of inventions in brewing. Alright guys, this is the bonus footage over. I'm done, I'm outie. The brew day took 5.5 hours, and I've got 3 cubes at 1045, 1 cube at 1027 for myself. So in 5.5 hours, I think it's pretty successful. Alright guys. Peace out.